Hi, I'm Paddy, also known as pads.pads. I am a boxing coach based in Hong Kong. I'm also a boxing enthusiast. I'm from Liverpool and I've been here for 7.5 years. I think one thing about me that people don't know is that I'm actually secretly shy. And in general, I'd probably just want people to know that if you think you know me, you probably don't. And whatever thoughts you have about me, I would always be open to trying to change, because not that I really care what people think, but I do care about people. And I'm just quite a kind and nice person, to be honest. Some people might disagree. And if you do, bring it to me and we can either sort it out or sort it out another way. Yeah, one or the other. So the reason we got into boxing was my mum's brothers boxed, so when they were younger. So, just growing up with two brothers around the house, my uncles used to kind of encourage us to box. And when I was about 13, 14, I think, no, younger, my brother was 14. And I basically followed him along to a club. I did it for about a year and then I gave up sports, to be honest. But actually, after living in Hong Kong for quite some time and living the life of a recruiter and an expat, there was a lot of drinking and partying, and I kind of realized that I wasn't part of a team or part of anything that grounded me. And whilst I'm not too keen on team sports, I did realize that I needed something here. So I started taking boxing back up for fitness. Then I started getting back into it, and about 3 years ago, I started picking it up seriously and competing. So I started when I was young. I always had an interest. My mum actually wouldn't let me compete, so she put me in rugby, which was useless because I was terrible at it and I hated it. And then years later, I kind of come back to do what I always wanted to do as a kid and level myself out in Hong Kong. I don't really follow celebrities or anything like that. There's nobody who kind of springs to mind, but I feel like there's a lot of people in my life who are positive influences. You've interviewed two of them, lads from the gym, Mikey, Rehan, anybody that you train with, the Versus team, always pushing each other to essentially do better. But I have a lot in terms of just in my friendships, right? Even if they're not positive influences, they may be positive supporters. So if I make decisions in my life to better myself or give up drinking or whatnot, then a lot of my friends will encourage it and understand why, which for me is a positive influence. So rather going against it, they're actually trying to encourage me. So I'm very lucky to have an abundance of positive influences in my life, to be honest, all within my friendship groups. One of my greatest achievements, not getting knocked out by Lu Shandong, not getting knocked out by him. That was a pretty big achievement. As in, the first fight was an achievement. Hats off to anyone who gets in the ring. It takes an awful lot. But that ring was a bit of that fight was a bit messy. I got dropped in the first 20 seconds. Everything I had planned for went out the window. But obviously it taught a lot about myself, kind of had to just get in there and do it. So to bring it back to a draw, I was very happy. My last fight, that was a good achievement for getting a first round TKO, but it's not actually the fight that I'm proud of. It's the discipline and the effort that I put in behind the scenes that I'm proud of. Hitting my runs, hitting my strength sessions, doing the sparring with people I don't want to spar with, going with people at a higher level than me to make sure that I can keep growing and climbing. So the actual result, yeah, sure, to have a successful fight camp, you have to fight, but the achievement for me is in what you do before that. And of course, pads, that's something that's very close to my heart. That's something that I truly believe in. I feel like I'm doing good work. I feel like I am changing people's lives, even if it's in a little bit every day, and providing a safe space for people to be able to talk. I'm not somebody who judges people. So pads and all my clients from that, new or old, or who have just come through, I'm proud of what I've done with that in Hong Kong, and yeah, just pads, yeah. What am I most grateful for? I spent a lot of my life probably not being too grateful, just from being busy living. And it's just going to sound so cliche, but I'm just grateful for another day, grateful for a cup of tea, grateful for the mistakes that you make. Everything in time I am grateful for, because it's always a lesson. It's always helping me grow and develop. And there hasn't been one thing in my life that has happened that I now look back at and wish didn't. I mean, because I wouldn't be who I am. I am really grateful for the little things, friendships, texts, big nights out, this and that. But I think the main thing is just waking up every day and being able to have another crack at life, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I kind of, my motivation is to kind of put a bit of joy in anyone's day. And what I mean by that is I always say hello to local people that I don't know. I try and make people laugh. I try and be there for my friends. For me, it's not about having a mass amount of money. It's not about having a title in recruitment or owning your own business. Sure, all them things are great, but I think the biggest thing for me is like, if I can offer support, help, or bring happiness to anyone's life, whether that's for a long time or a moment, then you've made a difference, and that's how people will remember you. So I think for me, it is actually just trying to bring a bit of joy to people's lives, right? Trying to find humor in darker moments, being someone that people can go to with their deepest, darkest secrets and know they're not going to get judged within reason. Don't come to me if you've been on the Epstein Island. Yeah, I mean, I've had my fair share of tough times. Some of them have been brought on by myself. The last one I had, obviously last year, I got attacked, assaulted. I had a fractured skull and a bleed on the brain, but I think it's just keep pushing and keep going. It's okay to reset. I think if you kind of think like, when things are bad, that's as bad as they're gonna get. So the only way is up, and you owe it to yourself to go up. So my advice is to keep going. You know, tomorrow is a new day, and not everything bad lasts, and it will at some point be beneficial to your life. So keep going. If you're really struggling, reach out to a friend. But I think it's just that for me. It's just like, keep going and allow yourself to be happier, right? Like, allow that for yourself. You don't have to constantly stay in a state of despair. Like, you owe it to yourself to have good times. If I'm being completely honest, I felt like I lost a lot of time last year in terms of my fighting a bit. Obviously, I couldn't hit pads for 4 months. I couldn't spar for X, Y, and Z. So this year's the comeback year. I want to get approved for fighting. I've started sparring again. So I just want to get a few fights under my belt. There's certain people I want to fight. There's things I want to do, but just to get back in the ring once is the first aim, and then take it from there. In terms of coaching, I just want to keep developing people. I think I've now been coaching long enough that I can be taking people through to fights who want to do it, obviously at the amateur level. And just to keep growing, I want to see how good I can get at boxing this year with the discipline. I want to see how good a coach I turn into because of that. And I'm just excited for trying to, basically I have a fear of not reaching my potential, and I never want to look back and not know what I could have done. You know, everybody has their own story. It's all relevant. You don't have to become a world champion. You don't have to be on telly. You don't have to make loads of money. But this year I want to go back and see what I am capable of, how far I can get and fail, how far I can get and succeed, and apply that to my coaching as well. You know, pads is in Hong Kong. Why shouldn't it go everywhere? Who knows? But I just want to push this year for bigger and better things, while still saying myself and being authentic and not being a sellout. Yeah, I just want to say thank you everyone for listening to my story. 2024 is going to be a good one. I've been pads, you've been brilliant. Thank you.